Hello and welcome back to Azure Terraformer. Today we are going to be building our Packer pipeline. So last episode, if you recall, we set up our shared image gallery and implemented a Terraform pipeline using Azure DevOps. Today we're going to set up a pipeline in Azure DevOps that will build one or more Packer images. Again, we're going to continue that theme of creating reusable pipelines. Using open source tools like Bash, as opposed to proprietary tasks that are built into our pipelining tool of choice, in this case Azure DevOps. So even these pipelines could be pretty easily retrofitted to other pipelining tools, thanks to that fact. So some of you might be wondering, why isn't he using service connections? Why isn't he using Azure DevOps, tasks and things like that? Why is he always using Bash? That's why. It's a philosophical decision. It's a conscious decision, trying to keep things relatively decoupled from the pipelining tool, so that they can be moved from GitLab to Azure DevOps to GitHub. I'd say it's probably just a culprit of my background as a consultant. I worked in a lot of different places, and each place they'd have their own tool chain, and so I might have to move my techniques from one tool chain to another. So I couldn't just tightly couple everything without completely rewriting it at a new place. So that might go into it. Again, you can use these same principles and concepts, and you can go your own way, right? If you don't want to use Bash and you want to use Azure DevOps tasks or things like that, by all means, apply these same concepts, use service connections instead of service principles and variable groups, etc. Go for it. Anyways, just wanted to give that little disclaimer before we get started, and off we go. So I'm looking at my infrastructure, my infra machine images repo, which has some Terraform that provisions the machine image gallery. I've got an Azure DevOps Pipelines folder, which has my Terraform plan and apply pipelines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by adding a script that's going to run my Packer. So I'll just call it packer.sh. And Packer is relatively, easy. Packer just needs to run init. We're going to be using HCL, so we just pass it the relative path to the current working directory, and as long as the pipeline is using the correct working directory, this relative path should be good to go. Okay, so that's it. Packer init, Packer build. We should be fine with that. So now I need to have, I didn't create a branch, did I? Git checkout b feature Packer pipeline. All right, wonderful. So now I need my Packer build.yaml. And so in here, I'm going to have no trigger. I'm going to use a pretty standard pipeline name. I'm going to use a standard shared pool, for my image. And I'm going to get a task going here, and it's going to be it's just going to be a simple bash task. Okay. And so for my bash task, I need to specify some inputs. I need to have the file path for my script, which is azdo pipelines scripts packer.sh. I need to pass in the working directory, which I'm going to make a working directory pipeline variable, which is very similar to what I did with Terraform. And then I'm going to have some environment variables. Now, my Packer template is just going to build on Azure. And so I need to pass in the usual suspects from an Azure authentication standpoint. So similar to Terraform, where you can use like a TF-var prefix for passing in input variables into Terraform. We can do the same thing in Packer. It's just not TF-var. It is, any guesses? PKR-var, exactly. And this is case sensitive, and basically just treat this as a magic string, and then whatever comes after that last underscore, this is also case sensitive. It has to match exactly what is in your Packer variables files as well. Okay, so I'm just going to drop these in here because it's pretty standard boilerplate. Yeah, so we should be good to go. So the template that I'm going to copy is just going to be the same Packer template. So I think I probably should have my Packer template set up. So let me bring that over and we can look at the variables. So Packer, and then I'm going to have a folder called baseline Ubuntu 1804. Okay, so I'm going to grab my template from episode 11, which should have all the things that I need, and we'll interrogate this a little bit. So I've got this is not going to be used because I'm going to pipe these in. Okay, so these are going to be I could leave them in the file. The age-old debate, like, should these be in a file or should these be out in pipeline variable group or something like that? Kind of leaning towards putting these in a pipeline variable group right now. So we'll leave that. We'll leave that for now, and then we'll think about it. Okay, and I think all of these, my IP address is not set. Okay, gallery name, image version. Now the image version I want to dynamically generate. So that's something that I'm going to have to update in my pipeline to just pull that, because I don't want to have somebody have to go put in a version number every single time. That would just be insane. So let's start off by, I'm gonna drop these because I really feel strongly that those are going to be a variable group that I configure, and it's just going to be set up for dev or for prod. Okay, so I'm going to leave that the way that is. And instead of using my IP address, I'm going to change this to agent IP address, because it's not going to be intended to be the your local computer that this Packer code is run on. It's intended that it's going to be the build agent. So I need to go and find where that reference is, and I need to update that. Perfect. Okay. And then what else do I need to do? Yeah, I think we're good there, because all of this is set up for, so I do have the primary location. Let's check the primary location. Primary location is still set. Wonderful. Okay, so going to my build pipeline, let's make sure that we're passing in all of the variables that we need. It might help to open this to the side so we can just check them off. Open to the side. Okay. So subscription ID, actually we'll reorder these so that they match. Subscription ID, tenant ID, then the client ID, and then the client secret. And then we have a PKVAR primary location. So we need to have a primary location setting. We need to have pkvar image name. That can be passed in. And then we need to have the image version. So pkvar image version. And we'll just set this as foo because we're going to have to change that in a second. And then we need to pass in the pkvar gallery resource group. And we'll set this to gallery resource group. And we need pkvar gallery, gallery name. And we'll set that to gallery name. And then pkvar agent IP address. Okay. And we'll set that to, I guess that wouldn't be a pipeline value. So we're going to have to, because what's going to happen is the every time we run an Azure DevOps agent, we don't know what its IP address is going to be. So this is going to have to be dynamically generated. So, okay, so let's start with the image version. So this needs a value. Okay. So let me go. We can generate this in the Azure DevOps pipeline itself. And we can use just variables. So I'm going to say variables. I'm going to declare a new variable, and I'm going to do current year. And I'm going to use a syntax. Now there are several different ways that Azure DevOps interpolates. I'm stealing that word, but interpolates pipeline variables. There's dollar square bracket. There's dollar parentheses, and then I think there's like dollar curly curly, and each has like a different time when the pipeline is going to be processing that value. And so in order to access the pipeline start time, which is a special value, and then parse it using the format function to grab the month, I need to use the square brackets, because otherwise pipeline.startTime is not available when I want it to be. So here I'm just extracting the parts of the date, pipeline.startTime. So this is basically saying, okay, when this pipeline.startTime is a system variable within Azure DevOps that's available at maybe at compile time or runtime. Can't remember what the square bracket is. And I want to grab the month out of that date time, and I'll store it into a variable called current month. Okay. Now I'm going to declare a new one called version prefix, and this I'm going to use current. I'm going to use the different syntax. So this is after these variables have been evaluated. I'm going to say current year and current month, current year.current month. And then I'm going to say version patch. And I'm going to basically say, now this is where it's really crazy. The patch is a really tricky one, because the patch is relying on a special function called counter. And the counter function in Azure DevOps is basically going to count. That's why I wrote count. How many times a certain string has shown up in a particular pipeline for that day. And so what I'm going to do here is a little trick with format. And now, instead of getting the separated values, I'm going to get YYY month, and it's going to be from pipeline.start time again, and I'm going to start at 0. So that's essentially what version patch means. And so now the final image version is going to be version prefix dot version patch. And so now, instead of my foo, I'm going to take this image version and I'm going to put that into the value down there. Okay, so we're doing a little bit of math, little algebra, grabbing the year and the month and concatenating, and then using this counter function within Azure DevOps to get us basically a unique string that's going to look like this: 2023 02 I'm sorry, and it's going to be .1, and then the next time that the pipeline runs will be .2. So basically think about it like you're at the BMV. Take a number. Every time the pipeline runs, you get a new number. That's it. That's all it's doing. And that guarantees uniqueness, and it also guarantees a relatively reasonable complexity for what our version numbers look like. So we know that the day and year that thing was run on, and if we need to, for whatever reason, run it again that day, we can distinguish between those two. Okay, last thing that I need to do is I need to go grab my IP address. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to run a little bit of bash. I'm going to say task bash 3. I'm going to say display name. Actually, I'm just going to call this name. I'm going to say build agent IP address. I'm going to say inputs, and the target type is going to be inline, and the script is going to be just an inline script where I'm going to try and grab the IP address using some bash. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit this address. I'm going to then use this Visual Studio special syntax that basically sets an output variable. It's very weird, feels extremely hacky, but this is just how you do it. So is output equals to true, and then at the end we're going to smash IP. I would be really shocked if I did not have a typo in this script, and I did. So there we go. And so now all I have to do down here is go grab build agent IP and then the address. And so this corresponds to the name of that task, which is, you can see it on, you can almost see it. You can see it on line 20. So in order to access this output variable, we reference the name of the task, and then we reference the value, which the name of the variable is called address. And yeah, so that's how we're referencing this output variable. And so the fact that it's an output variable is set there. That way other steps within this job can access that value. So there we go. So this should give us what we need. We do need to go create these variables, okay? But other than that, I think this is looking pretty good as far as pipelines go. And I already went through every single one of my variables, so we should be good there. This variable input file may be whack. I guess we are specifying the image name in this file and the image version, so we don't want that. So let's just get rid of this. Okay, let's get rid of this. We're gonna get rid of all these things. And also, I'm not even using this. So let's just drop this pkvars file. I don't think it's really helping us all that much. We're passing in all of these things anyway. So primary location, image name, image version, we generate dynamically, and yeah, all these things. Okay, so we should be good. Okay, so let me just check this. I don't think I should have any bad stuff in here that'll get me in trouble. So yeah, it should be good. Okay, Packer pipeline, YAML. All right, there we go. So yep, I want to push that to my remote. So now over here, I'm going to go create a new variable group, and it's going to be for my image gallery dev. Okay, shared image gallery for dev. I gotta have a variable defined there. So the variable needs to match shared image gallery dev, and we have the resource group, we have the gallery name. Bada bing, bada boom. So I need to get the shared image gallery for dev, which is right here. So this guy's name is that. And then this guy's resource group is this. All right, wonderful. Okay. So let's check on I need to create a pull request. I'm going to create the pull request. This looks pretty good. Let me just review it. Check. Check. The name, image version, going to primary location, US East. I mean, there's nothing exciting in these files. Agent IP address, gallery, image, primary location, then Azure credentials. So yeah, should be good. Now you'll notice one thing that I do need to fix is that my Terraform plan is running. And I don't need to have a build validation for my Terraform plan when I'm not updating the Terraform. So that's it's a little bit of a slowdown. We can fix that in a little bit, but yeah, so we merge this in. Also, we don't need to run apply again when we just updated Terraform. So we can probably just go and fix those pipelines to have triggers that are mapped to the particular path, of just the Terraform code, so that they only run when the Terraform code is updated. And so we could do that just by editing this, going to triggers, and then adding a path filter. And the path is, I think, just Terraform. And that's it. So this will only execute if there is something, if it's in Terraform. And then I think for this, the trigger, there is no trigger override. It's in the branch protection. So for this branch protection, I have to go and change the build validation. Woo. So that the build validation only executes when there's a Terraform change. So that we won't see that anymore when we make updates to either the Packer or to the pipelines, which is a very good thing. Okay, so now what I need to do is create a new pipeline, and I'm going to create a new folder. I'll just create a new pipeline, okay? And we're going to create a new pipeline based on that Packer image that we specified there. So packer build.yaml, okay? And we have to save, and we have to give this particular instance of this an appropriate name. We're just going to call this Ubuntu baseline Ubuntu 1804. Okay, there we go. So now for this guy, we need a few variable group, or we need a few variables. Let's just go ahead and link the credentials. And let's link the shared image gallery for dev. Let's save that. And then there's a couple missing variables that we need. So we need the primary location, which no surprise there, we're just going to make it West US. Then we need, this is a little small, sorry for the runoff. Then we need the image name. The image name, that's not going to change. It's going to be baseline Ubuntu 1804. And then we need the, these are already set. So primary location, image name, these are set. These are also set. So we should be good. That's all we need. I don't need anything else. So, we need working directory. My bad. Working directory. And so the working directory, if we look at this, is actually, it's in the Packer folder, but it's in the baseline Ubuntu 1804. So this is important. So this is really what's telling the Packer executable, this script, what Packer code to use. So very, very important. Okay, so that should be good. We got a problem with our code. So line 19, column 3. 19, column 3. Did I bork? Oh, I think I missed just this. I missed the steps thing. My bad. And really git checkout. B feature fix YAML, Packer YAML. So let's YAML fix. Let's commit and push. Yes. Let's git checkout main, git fetch all, git pull, git checkout, feature fix Packer YAML, git rebase main, git push force. Okay. So now let's go look at, we're going to have to submit a pull request, and we'll be able to test our little validation that the build validation doesn't run. It doesn't. Look at that. Beautiful. So this will go much quicker. We don't have to wait for Terraform plan to run. And we should not see the Terraform apply run either, because we also set that up. So now when we go to our pipeline, let's go find the pipeline. We've already created it, so we don't have to redo that. Looks pretty good. Yeah, let's just give it a go and see what happens. So it failed. Let's see what happened here. Shared image gallery does not exist in the resource. My managed image name is probably wrong. Yeah, I got it backwards. So the image name has to match exactly what the virtual machine image definition is here. Now this should be easily fixable. All I have to do is go and edit the variables and change this to be correct. And unfortunately the folder is gonna still be off, but I think the folder is correct. So let's run this again. Is there anything else wrong with this? I mean, that just stood out immediately to me. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that thing does exist in this resource group. Yeah. So it kind of gave a bad error where it's like either this happened or this happened or this happened, right? And we have to know that, well, no, that thing didn't happen. This thing does exist in this resource group. So it must be the other thing, which is that. So, yeah. All right, let's see how this is going. Now, one thing I didn't do, which would have been really nice, is like if I were to have actually echoed the IP address of the build agent. That way we could have just had a little bit of peace of mind that this is actually going to work. Because if the build agent IP address has got borked, then we are not going to have any clue, what is happening out there. So I'm gonna go pull main again. I'm gonna add some logging, basically. So here might as well output the image version, and might as well output the IP address of our buddy. So we'll just output the IP address. So this is the build agent IP address. And that should give us a little bit more peace of mind that this thing is actually has the values that it needs. And let's run our pull request. Should review that even though I just did it. I think that's fine. And let's just check in on the Packer build and see how it's doing. I mean, this is usually this is the sign you're looking for. This is actually syslog output from the virtual machine. So you see provisioning with shell script, and it creates a dynamic shell script file that it executes using whatever your script is. And then this is the output from it. So we know that Packer is connected to that VM, and it has created an image, and it's created a very nice image name, 2023-02.1. So that's a wonderful thing. So there you go. And in moments, we'll probably be seeing that image version show up. There it is. So there you go. So we have created a Packer template for Ubuntu. We have run that image through our pipeline that we've created. We've made sure that our pipeline has a dynamic version that it's set, and it's dynamically pulling the build agent's IP address from the Azure DevOps build agent that's executing the pipeline. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you find this content useful. If you have any ideas or want me to spend more time on specific areas, please let me know. Would love to delve in there. Until next time, please give me a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And we'll see you next time on Azure Terraformer. See you.